Lesson 20, If Then. In this lesson, we're going to take a look at the first very simple flow control statement. Flow control means controlling which way we run code. Normally, you'd run every line of code in a macro, but using flow control, we can skip over pieces of code depending on certain decisions. So we're going to talk about two kinds of statements here. The first one is just one statement. It has the if and then all in one line. And then the second one, the much more versatile if and then later on an end if. And we'll take a look at that. So let's get started. Well, if you remember back in lesson 16, we had this situation where we had to calculate a commission plan, and someone was going to manually go through and look at this and see if there was a service plan sold. The service plan, of course, was product Z, and product Z was always right above the total. So, they would go through and run, macro A here and macro B here. Well, using if then, we could just have a single macro that they can run, and it will work either way. So let's go take a look at the code. Remember, we had commission plan A, commission plan S. Commission plan S had the extra thing here with service amount. And other than that, they were very similar between the two. And we could actually have some control here. If we wanted to look at the row right above this row, and let's see, I think its product is in column B. So we'd say if cells this row -1, column 2, because B is the second letter, dot value equals Z, then service amount equals range E and this row -1. Now, see right there, we're mixing cells and range in the same line, but who cares? It works out. And so basically now service amount is going to be filled in only when we have a value of Z. Otherwise, service amount is going to basically come up as 0, and this should work just fine. So now we just have commission plan S, and let's see, we should be able to come here. Let's test one where it's going to work first. Control S shows up, and if it's not a Z right above it, it still works just paying the normal commission. So there we simplified it. Now the person just has to go through basically and press Control S on every total line, and the macro figures out whether a service plan was sold or not. So that's the simple way to do an if then. Although if you think about it, lots of times we're going to have situations where you need to run more than one line of code. And so to be honest, I never use if and then in the same line. I always use this construct here, where we have an if statement first. That if statement has to end with then, several lines of code, and then finally an end if. And you'll notice it's not necessary, but I do indent all of the lines within the if block by one tab stop. So we could actually have several lines here. We could actually, what's left and commission amount might only be relevant inside of here. At least what's left definitely is only relevant. Commission amount we still want to calculate. So there, basically the service amount and what's left lines will only be run on the service plan. Saves just a tiny bit of time in calculating this. And you can have as many lines of code in there as you want. So, you might need to run a whole block of 20 or 30 things if something's true. And if it's not true, you want to go on with the rest of the macro. Using if and then end if, a great way to very simply have a little bit of flow control where some lines of the macro only get run if a certain condition is true. Well, in the next lesson, we're going to take this one step further and take a look at adding an else clause or an else if clause. You can really ramp up the flexibility of this statement. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this lesson helpful.
Looking to advance your career by acquiring new skills? Tired of expensive off-site training programs? Wish you could learn from the best instructors in the industry? Look no further than live lessons. Self-paced, personal video instruction by the world's leading technology publishers. Each live lesson comes with a DVD featuring 3 to 4 hours of instructor-led classroom training, sample program code that allows you to work along with your personal instructor. and an example-rich study guide. Live lessons allow you to watch the entire course from start to finish, or navigate directly to any of the individual lessons. You'll literally watch over the shoulder of your instructor as he shows you how to build state-of-the-art applications. Live lessons, the power of the world's leading technology experts at your fingertips. To learn more, visit mylivelessons.com today.